Hello, this is AnlineOffline. Welcome back to another casuals quick guide to Call of Duty Mobile. For today's video, we'll be covering the Type 63. Introduced in Season 9 of 2024, the Type 63 is a semi-automatic rifle in the marksman class. Black Ops Cold War didn't have a marksman class like 2019, but rather they had a class for tactical rifles. The real-life gun of the same name is an assault rifle that combines elements of the SKS and AK-47, designed for Chinese self-sufficiency after the Sino-Soviet Split. However, quality control was difficult to maintain given the loss of life and regressive actions during the Cultural Revolution. Thus it underperformed in a 1979 border war against Vietnam. By then it was already obsolete to the superpowers. The Soviets already adopted 5.45 and began using it in Afghanistan by the end of the year. Much earlier, the Americans already switched to 223 in Vietnam, and NATO standardized 5.56 the following year. Back to mobile. Base damage per shot is high, as it can kill in 2 to 3 shots across the map. As a semi-auto, the base fire rate is capped at 353 rounds per minute. Thus you can kill faster than full auto SMGs if you have a good trigger finger. The bullet speed is tied with the FFAR and RAL MG at 950 meters per second, and this is solid for multiplayer unless you want cross-map precision. The catch is, the stomach is 10% less damage and the legs are 30% less. You can 2-tap above the legs in its first range. Beyond this, you have to aim for the ribs and up if you still want the 2-tap. Headshots are double damage and can one-shot at any range. Moving on to barrels, match grade increases your range by 50%. But cripples your sprint speed. Cavalry Lancer is more of a BR attachment, as it increases your bullet speed to over 1400 meters per second and doubles the damage dealt to vehicles. Task Force increases your bullet speed to over 1200, your range by 30%, and your stomach multiplier to deal base damage. This allows you to 2-tap anywhere above the legs at any range, but this comes with more recoil. Rapid fire increases your fire rate up to 384 rounds per minute with no drawbacks, and this is faster than the SKS. Titanium gives you the fastest fire rate cap at 420 rounds per minute. This time to kill is comparable to burst weapons. However, your range is limited by 25%, thus you either have to be more aggressive in close range, or more precise and take your time between shots at mid-range and beyond. The most valued barrel is Strike Team. It combines the same fire rate as rapid fire, and the stomach damage of Task Force. It's supposed to decrease your range like Titanium, but it technically doesn't matter because of its aforementioned multiplier boost. So there's no reason to use any other barrel. In terms of mobility, the base movement speeds are a mixed bag. Sprinting is slightly below standard in base. Walking is standard. Strafing is the second fastest in the class behind the M1 Garand. The same is true for the base ADS and sprint out times. Its minimum ADS time is between the fastest Kilo Bolt and stopping power XPR. This is the slowest minimum in the marksman class. The base mag size is 20 rounds and can be extended to 30 and 35. When empty, you can reload cancel before you loosen the grip on the mag. When not empty, you can cancel just before you insert the mag. The taped and grew mags will have faster, different animations, but you have to cancel after inserting the mag. As for accuracy, the Type 63 has as much base idle sway as the DLQ when scaled to the same magnification. But unlike other snipers and marksman rifles, it has no attachments in its Cold War Gunsmith that helps or harms its breath hold or idle sway, so it will always have a 3-second breath hold. Iron Lungs can be buggy when you switch classes, but in the making of this video, it has come to my attention thanks to fellow small creator Nocho that Iron Lungs does not work on marksman rifles, only snipers. I don't remember if this was always the case and I forgot or didn't double check, or if this was the case and some sort of change went under everyone's radar. Recoil is somewhat erratic when spamming, and the unchangeable idle sway may add another layer of unpredictability for hardscopers. In my opinion, the iron sights are fine, as the front portion is similar to the AK and SKS, but it may be difficult to use with a synced FOV. There are no red dots, so if you don't like it, you don't have many options. Sure, you could delete weapon assets, but the Kilo Bolt model isn't meant to be fired this fast, so I wouldn't recommend it. Flinch is on par with pistols and the second lowest in this class, behind the M1 Garand. It has the second lowest potential flinch in this class, behind the SKS's 0. The fire spread is the worst in the class, but its initial shots is on par with the rest. In Black Ops Cold War, the Type 63 was less lethal than ours because they had to balance it for 150 HP. This meant 3-shot kills, less headshot damage, slower bullet speed, more erratic visual recoil, and a faster fire rate. I don't know if it was underrated in multiplayer, because the DMR-14 overshadowed it statistically and was only nerfed in Warzone. If you think the Type 63 is strong now, consider the pre-release version in the test server. It had a 25-round base mag like in Cold War, dealt base damage to the stomach, had no mention of bullet speed, but had slower reloads. The addition of a new marksman was a long time coming, because before this the last marksman added was 2019's Mark II, 2 years prior. Early on there was some debate as to whether or not it had dethroned the SKS as the best semi-auto. Then it got a mid-season recoil buff, and now it's hard to deny that it has. There was only one issue. You had to grind hipfire kills like an assault rifle, instead of doing marksman challenges. This was fixed the following season. Fast forward half a year, and wildcards were added. So, what are my thoughts on the Type 63? I'm not alone when I say that it has the potential to be the most oppressive weapon to go up against when used in the right hands. It's just that not everyone has the hands to use it. It's not intuitive for thumb players to use their fire button to ADS, because you have to tap the screen to shoot, but if you take the same finger off the screen, you can't aim properly. It would be more convenient to use a controller or a computer mouse, but those guys have their own separate bobbies. I did, however, recently discover a way for thumb players to easily use it without having to learn claw and developing premature carpal tunnel, and that's to use simple mode, which treats it like a slow loadout. The caveat is that the fire rate in simple mode is half of the max potential. That's not including all of the other handicaps that comes with using simple mode, which is for the best, otherwise it would be overpowered. So it's still much easier to use the Odin or Lag 53 normally. I did say that the Type 63 was the best semi-auto, but just how far ahead is it compared to its peers? Its most direct competition is with the SKS. In the first range they perform almost equally, but the Type 63 has the edge. It has a faster potential fire rate, faster sprint out time, and superior body multipliers to wallbang in fewer shots and deny serpentine, but no one really uses that perk. The SKS could theoretically achieve faster movement, ADS times, and 0 flinch, but that requires multiple attachments, while the Type 63 doesn't have to commit as hard. In the second range, I'd say the SKS has the slight edge. The Type 63 can increase its stomach multiplier to match the SKS's lethality, increase its bullet speed to be a non-issue in multiplayer, or increase its fire rate. But precision is more important than volume at long range. The SKS has a longer breath hold and steadier idle sway, both amplified by its Gunsmith. The SKS may be one of my all-time favorites, but the Type 63 is more suited for my playstyle in close to mid-range, and the impact allows me to threaten SMGs. Although the Type 19 has gradually become less popular as a flex AR, its DMR conversion is still unique for its ability to 2-tap to the legs. And because it's still an AR, it has all of its benefits, such as faster base movement, faster sprint out, red dots, no idle sway, no breath hold, low flinch, bullet speed that's almost hit scan. Even though it has some recoil, it recenters quickly. But as someone who likes their trigger finger, that faster fire rate is just too good to pass up. Also, the 63 will usually have faster ADS times unless you max out the Type 19s. The 63 reloads faster, and can 2-tap to the stomach at any range, whereas the 19 has to aim to the ribs and up past its first range. The rest of these aren't a debate, but they might be worth entertaining, so I'll just go in order of preferences. The AS-Val has an integrated suppressor by default, the fastest potential bullet speed in multiplayer that's not hit scan, no recoil. Could be interesting to strafe with, on top of all the benefits of being an AR. That's about it, as the 63 with certain barrels doesn't have a drop in lethality, can target the forearms, shoots much faster, and doesn't need as many attachments for ADS time. Much of the same also applies to the AMAX and M67. It's slightly more consistent than the AS-Val in multipliers, but it shoots slower, aims slower, and has noticeable recoil. If the Type 19 is for power, then Vanguard's M1 Garand is all about speed, but I don't feel compelled to spam as fast as I'd like to. The Garand's 2-shot range is limited, and it can't one-shot to the head, unlike others. Unless you've got a really good trigger finger, 3 shots to kill with a semi-auto is a waste of time on a touchscreen. Its limited mag size and unchangeable breath hold don't help either. Does the Type 63 need any changes? I don't know. Should it receive its original 25-round base mag? It's not necessary. Does it need a buff? Absolutely not. Everyone knows it's good, even if they can't use it. Does it need a nerf? Why bother when a lot of people aren't going to give it a chance and we don't have to worry about crossplay? The only change I want is for iron lungs to work on marksman rifles. But hey, that's just my opinion. This has been a Casual's quick guide. Feel free to suggest what weapons you want to see covered next. My name is On, and I'm off.